Purushottam Raoji, the respected Ramoji, Professor Sanjeeva Reddy, office bearers of Telangana Jana Vedika, members of Telangana Jana Vedika. It is indeed an honor, a privilege. In fact, I am deeply grateful and appreciate the invitation which you have given me to come and share some of my thoughts with you. I do not in any way claim to be a stalwart on Gandhian ideas. My interest in Gandhi... am I audible? Yes. So I began by thanking Purushottam Raoji, Ramoji, Professor Sanjeeva Reddy, and thank you for that introduction as well, Professor Sanjeeva Reddy, for inviting me to Telangana Jana Vedika. I thank all the members and office bearers for your presence here today. I do not in any way claim to be a stalwart in Gandhian studies. When Professor Sanjeeva Reddy was introducing me, none of my specializations are in Gandhian studies. What I focus on is on justice. And so I landed up on Gandhi while trying to work out an understanding of justice which is relevant for our times today. And that is why over the last couple of months, I have been focusing on Gandhi to figure out whether Gandhi gives us anything which we can use for achieving justice in our society. And I am not again talking about Gujarat only. I am not talking about India only. I think this is a problem which much of the world today is facing. It is not India specific at all. So I thank you for your presence here today, and I would be very happy if you give me your comments, because it will help my understanding of Gandhi. I am submitting this presentation as a trial on whether I have understood Gandhi or not, and I'm doing this in a particular way. I do understand that I am in the midst of a civil society organization, and I strongly believe that civil society organizations are very important, have been very important, and they are perhaps even more important today. If something is missing in politics today, it is civil society organizations. We don't see much of it anymore. And I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm speaking to civil society organizations. At one time, and I'm saying this very critically, and I'll beg the pardon of Professor Sanjeeva Reddy, at one time, universities were seen as part of civil society organizations. Today, they are not. Today, we have become departments of government. And therefore, I salute civil society organizations who are working as civil society organizations. I did check your Facebook page, and I am impressed with the kind of work that you're doing. So I congratulate all of you for the kind of work you're doing, which unfortunately universities in India are no longer doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and look at two things. How Gandhi can be looked at from the perspective of civil society, and two, how Gandhi, and in doing that, how Gandhi actually gives us an idea of justice which is not available today. We don't even use it anymore. I also beg your pardon that I do not prefer to use the word Gandhi Ji, the title Gandhi Ji, because then that gives me very little space to criticize him. Gandhi made many mistakes. Gandhi made many blunders. And if we say Mahatma or Gandhi Ji, then I am forced not to talk about that. So I prefer, and I was impressed with the fact that the speakers before me, I don't understand Telugu, did not say Gandhi Ji. They just said Gandhi. And I'm impressed by that. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to speak a little slowly, which is not me, I speak too fast, but I'm going to speak a little slowly. I'm not going to read, I'm going to converse. Um, there is a professor of philosophy in Columbia University. His name is Akil Bilgrami. Why am I bringing Akil Bilgrami? Because he belongs to Hyderabad. And I was thinking, who should I start with? So I said, might as well start with somebody who has worked on Gandhi and belongs to your state. Why should I talk about a person who does not come from Hyderabad? I was looking for Warangal, but then Akil Bilgrami is a phenomenal scholar on Gandhi. He's in Colombia. He's visiting Baroda in January. But in one of his articles, Akil Bilgrami writes this. He says, it is generally foolish to write about Gandhi. Not only because you are never certain you've got him right, but because you're almost sure to have him wrong. We will always, this is what Akil says, and I must admit I am also faced with the same dilemma, that maybe I have got Gandhi wrong. But what am I going to do with Gandhi? I'm going to try and make him understand his relevance today. Let me begin by saying that if you were to ask me, what is Gandhi's relevance today? Gandhi, according to me, was the most vibrant, meaningful, effective civil society body in India at one time. I do not need to remind you that Gandhi was not a part of the Constituent Assembly. What was the Constituent Assembly? It was an assembly which was forming the state in India, writing the Constitution. And the Constitution is the state. The state is not the territory only. The state is sovereignty. And where does this sovereignty come from? Where do we see it? We see it in the Constitution. That is why we are not supposed to burn the Constitution. It is considered treason. And Gandhi was not part of that. What was Gandhi a part of? He was part of the freedom struggle. Once freedom is attained, Gandhi takes a back seat. Or perhaps Gandhi was given a back seat, whichever. But he accepted that back seat. There were many times when Sardar Patel and Nehru would go to Gandhi and ask and inform Gandhi about the developments in the Constituent Assembly. But Gandhi never said, I want to be a part of the Constituent Assembly. Which really means that civil society organizations are not supposed to be part of the state. And that's why I say universities are no longer civil society organizations. So for me, Gandhi is one meaningful, effective civil society. A person as a civil society. Now, why am I saying this? I come from Gujarat. I am not a Gujarati, but I come from Gujarat, where there are Gandhians. In fact, they are endangered species. Gandhians are today old, tired, and they are endangered. They know if you are a Gandhian, it's okay, you have nothing better to do. You are tired, you are old, you're supposed to live a frugal, simple life. You're not supposed to be Mukesh Ambani and a Gandhi. It's ironic. If Mukesh Ambani says, "Main Gandhian," we would not accept it. So, a Gandhian is supposed to be, and in Gujarat, I'm bringing this too because you would have heard that, or you may have read, that Gujarat is celebrating its model of development. Gujarat also celebrates its model of capitalist development. But Gujarat is also where, we would say, is where Sabarmati Ashram is. So what are Gandhians doing in this model of development that our present Prime Minister is advocating? If you ask me, they have become endangered. But this is not what Gandhi is. If you ask me, and I will try, and my argument is on this, that I think Gandhi is relevant more for the young today than for the old. If there is a relevance for Gandhi, it is in the young. And India celebrates that it has the most young population in the world. This young population more than ever needs Gandhi. And towards the end, I will try and give you perhaps what I think is the most important thing that Gandhi does, which today there is nobody doing. So, I will also try and read Gandhi politically, and I'm not reading Gandhi spiritually. Right? Now, how do I read Gandhi? And I am I do not know whether I'm young or old, but I teach young students. And one of the many questions which come to me when I teach Gandhi is, what do we do with Gandhi today? Freedom has been attained. Non-violence is no more a virtue. We have capitalism. We have to fight wars. What do you do with Gandhi? And how is he relevant, which is the thing, how is he relevant today? And that is when I began to explore Gandhi. So let me say that Gandhi in India today is a statue. I saw 2-3 statues when coming from Hyderabad to Varanasi on the way. I saw a white statue of Gandhi as well, and I was impressed. So Gandhi is a statue. Gandhi has become brand ambassador for cleanliness in India. So we are selling cleanliness. This is, I do not know whether this is a compliment to that old man. कि सफाई रखनी है because गांधी ने कहा था, नहीं तो नहीं रखना. Are we complimenting Gandhi? I am not sure. I beg your pardon, I have a bit of sarcasm in my tone. That if we have to bring Gandhi to keep our society clean, are we complimenting Gandhi for what he did against the colonial master? So Gandhi has become a statue. Gandhi has become brand ambassador. Gandhi was brand ambassador for non-violence. We feel bad that Gandhi didn't get Peace Prize, Nobel Peace Prize. He should have got it, but he didn't get it. But Gandhi has also become currency. He is part of the currency. So even when demonetization happens, and I'll refer to demonetization again later, when demonetization happens, Gandhi continues. Many people in Gujarat say, "Ab Gandhi nahi hoga." Somebody else's face will be there. But Gandhi continues. Or we say Gandhi is a chapter in the book of history, textbooks. You read Gandhi as a chapter. Chapter khatam, Gandhi over. Let's move ahead. Which one is relevant today? In my opinion, none. What do I think we need to do with Gandhi? For me, if you ask me, Gandhi, we should look at Gandhi as a method. Gandhi is a method. And I think this is what it is. This is a method which we more than ever need today. Gandhi is not a method which you use only when you are ruled by the white colonial master. When Gandhi was struggling against colonialism, he's written this autobiography of his, Experiments with Truth. Kindly give me 5 minutes time when the time gets over, right? Just give me 1 minute. Thank you. So Gandhi writes My Experiments with Truth, autobiography or My Experiments with Truth. What is he doing there? He's playing with method or Hind Swaraj. Again, another text which I'll talk in some time, method. What is this method of Gandhi? And I'm going to be as truthful to Gandhi as possible. I'm not going to add anything which Gandhi was not. I hope I do that. To begin with, Gandhi was a man of dissidence. He was a man of dissent. वो बहुत जल्दी ना बोलता था और किससे ना बोलता था, वो किनको ना बोलता था. State. He would tell the state, authoritative state, no. So if you have seen Richard Attenborough's Gandhi, which is in my opinion, a bad movie on Gandhi. Why is it a bad movie on Gandhi? अगर आपने वो movie देखी है, उनको Oscars मिला था वो movie को. I'm sorry, I'm not very good in Hindi as well. You will never see Gandhi talking with the people. Gandhi is sitting on a platform. नीचे लोग बैठे हैं, वो सिर हिला रहे हैं, गांधी बोल रहे हैं. ऐसे गांधी नहीं थे. Gandhi was talking with the people. But more than that, Gandhi was a man of dissent. Gandhi disagreed. He disagreed with the colonial master. He disagreed with many sections in Indian society. He disagreed with Brahminism in some way. He disagreed with capitalism. He disagreed with his own family. But more important, he disagreed with the idea of an authoritative state. This dissidence, this dissidence we see in, I will share with you some dissidence, some understanding of dissidence which is there in Western thought, and I think Gandhi is doing something like that. I will share with you an idea which is very impressive if you were to ask me, and this idea comes from John Locke. John Locke is one of the leading philosophers of the 16th century. When John Locke is writing, monarchy is in place. Raja ka rule. The Raja is ruling. And it's a wonderful way of explaining how dissent is done, which even Gandhi does. So Locke looks, how did democracy come? How do you bring in democracy? Democracy is based first on dissent. You will have to disagree. Otherwise, democracy does not survive. Democracy does not survive when people agree. Democracy survives when some people disagree. When there was one-party dominant system in India, we were not very happy with it because there was no place for disagreement. What did Locke do? Locke said, why do you have monarchy? And this will give you some understanding of perhaps what Gandhi is doing. Why do you have monarchy? So the king says, because it is in the Bible, and it is in the Bible, that Adam is the king of earth. So one man is the king of earth. So Locke says, all right. Now imagine in Christian society you have the beginning of democracy, right? Jahan Bible mein likha hai ki ek aadmi raja hai. Right? I'm not talking about the Hindu caste order, which gives you another interpretation of why some people will rule. I'm giving you the example of a Christian society. And Gandhi was very highly influenced by Christianity. So Locke says, all right. So it is written in the Bible that Adam should rule. Is it written in the Bible that Adam's son should rule next? No, it is not. ठीक है, Adam का बेटा will rule next. आज 16th century और आज 21वीं सदी में, who is the son of the son of the son of Adam? Adam का DNA test तो नहीं हुआ था. कैसे पता करेंगे कि आज Adam का बेटा कौन है? ठीक है. If Adam's son has to rule, we are all children of Adam. If you say Lajwanti is not the child of Adam, you are saying the Bible is wrong. Because then I am the child of somebody who was before Adam or alongside Adam. Adam is not the first man on earth. अगर Adam पहला आदमी था पूरे विश्व का, तो हम सब उनके बच्चे. और अगर हम सब उनके बच्चे, तो हम सब को रूल करना चाहिए. Bible कहता है. Now this is how dissent takes place. I'm not saying dissent takes place with violence. Dissent can take place intellectually as well. And Gandhi is a man of dissent. You do know of the time when he was punished with a fine. He said, I will not pay. When we took him to jail, he happily went to jail. In fact, one thing which Gandhi did is to demolish the fear of the jail. British colonialism did many things in India, but there is somebody called Ram Punyani. He's a Bombay-based intellectual. He says, colonialism gave us three things: rail, mail, and jail. All right? And what Gandhi did is he removed the fear. Jail jana hai, chal. There is no problem. आज मुझे कोई बोला आपको जेल लेके जा रहे हैं, I get scared. Now, how do you dissent? You are disagreeing. You think jail is bad? I disagree. Jail is मैं वहाँ पे किताबें लिखूँगा, मैं वहाँ पे चिट्ठियाँ लिखूँगा. मुझे कोई डर नहीं है. This is dissent, and this is what is required for democracy. Democracy fails the day when people all agree with the state. So if the state, I'm not advocating going to jail, please don't get me wrong. But we do know that in fact, I read about someone recently who is in jail because he has refused to pay taxes, not in India. He has refused. Nahi bharu. Bhejna hai jail, bhejna. I will not pay my taxes. Now this is what also not what I'm advocating. But just I disagree. Why do we agree to anything? And let me give you one example. During demonetization, right? Demonetization was a harrowing experience for the common Indian. The common Indian. I mean, where do you get money from if you're going to demonetize more than 80% of the currency? Did anybody disagree? Did we have protests? No. Everybody agreed. Ticket. All right, now that is where I was not in India then. I was coming back to India and I was worried because I was telling Professor Sanjeev Reddy I didn't have 100 rupee notes. I only had 500 rupee notes. So I was wondering, now what do I do? I mean, how do I even reach home the way I was? But I thought there will be protests in India. We are not going to agree. Like in everybody agreed. All right? Now, this is where if Gandhi was alive today, I do not know what he would have done. The second thing which is important which Gandhi, so this is the first, which civil society does. Civil society is supposed to dissent. State is supposed to rule. Private individuals are supposed to be in their homes. Where does dissent come from? From civil society organizations. Gandhi was a civil society. The second is self-reflexivity. Self-reflection. Why do we have to, in fact, this is what somebody called Charles Taylor says. Charles Taylor says what is different about being a human being is that we reflect with ourselves. We think. We reflect. So, रात को मैं जाकर सोचूंगी, was my lecture good enough? Or could I have done better? Was it a bad lecture? Did I say anything meaningful? ये सवाल आता है कि आज हमने क्या किया? All right, that's self-reflection, and not only self-reflection but correction. You don't only self-reflect. तो अगर आज आपसे कोई भूल हो गई और आप मानते हैं कि भूल हुई, पहले तो वो मानना कि भूल हुई है is a very big thing. और कल वो फिर भूल दोबारा नहीं करना है, वो भी part of being human, right? That is what you see in Gandhi, and I do not have to tell you about the Chauri Chaura incident. Why was the Chauri Chaura incident stopped, the civil disobedience movement during the Chauri Chaura? Because Gandhi felt, no, this is not what I wanted. This is not right. Many people say, agar Chauri Chaura was allowed, the civil disobedience movement was allowed to continue, we would have got independence in 1920. But Gandhi came and said, no, ban. You have burned a police station, you have killed police, you have harmed police. This is not what civil disobedience is about. Ban. Stop it. And many people say, this is wrong. But what is Gandhi doing? Gandhi is self-reflecting. This is not what it was meant for. So, we abort the civil disobedience movement after the Chauri Chaura incident. Not only that, what Gandhi is also doing is, he is apologizing. How is he apologizing? He goes on to fast, on penance. Mujhse bhool ho gayi. I will have to now seek penance, forgiveness. I do not know of any politician in India today जो मानता है कि भूल हुई है. Alright, I do not know of one politician जो कहता है कि भूल हुई है. Whether it's the Narmada Bachao Andolan ka response, if you come to Gujarat ever and you go to the dwellings of the Adivasis who have been uprooted from the Narmada river, they are living in corrugated sheets, ka ghar. They don't have land. Where is their water being used for people like me who stay in central Gujarat? I would have appreciated अगर एक chief minister कहता ये हमसे भूल हो गई. Maybe डैम बनाना भूल नहीं है, but इन लोगों को ऐसे रखना, they are citizens of India, equal citizens of India. ये हमारी भूल है. और during demonetization, अगर government कहती डिमोनेटाइजेशन भले ही भूल नहीं है, लेकिन हमें अफसोस है जो लोग मर गए, उसका हमें अफसोस है, वो भी नहीं. But what does Gandhi do? And which is important for a democracy because you're talking to the people, you are of the people. Gandhi says, I agree, we have made a mistake. So we will now stop the civil disobedience movement. Where do you find this? You find this in civil society organizations. You don't find it in the state. And people, private individuals like me don't need to say sorry because we have done nothing politically. It's a different matter. Universities today are also not saying sorry. So I just was watching television today afternoon and I think there's an FIR filed against students of JNU. But who is saying sorry? We have forgotten how to say sorry. And when you forget how to say sorry, you forget to forgive. हम forgiveness भी भूल गए. When you forget to say sorry, you also forget to forgive. I come from a state where in 2002, and ये कोई छुपाने की बात नहीं, in 2002, Muslims were massacred. They were massacred, and I'm saying this. And where has anybody apologized? No. Let's carry on. Did Gandhi apologize? Even if he did not apologize for anything, maybe he apologized for the Chauri Chauri incident. But his penance, that fast, 1932, even when India is getting freedom, Gandhi is not in Delhi, Gandhi is in Calcutta, Gandhi is in Calcutta, and he is fasting. Penance. This is civil society. Civil society has to protest against the state. The third thing which Gandhi does, which I think civil society also does, is Gandhi has no fixed identity. He has open identity. You ask Gandhi, who are you? We were talking during lunch today. And I like giving a little bit of snippets in between my lecture so that I can keep your attention. There is a movie called The Party, Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers is an Indian in that movie. He's a Bollywood actor, a Hollywood actor, but Hollywood, no, I think it's a British movie. And Peter Sellers is an Indian. And Peter Sellers comes in front of a policeman. So the policeman says, who do you think you are? And Peter Sellers says, I'm an Indian. We don't think who we are, we know who we are. Now this rigidity, we're talking about in the morning, this rigidity is, according to me, what the state gives us. The state says, Lajwanti is a female, Lajwanti is a Sindhi, Lajwanti stays in, it's fixed, I can't change it. I try hard, but it's fixed. So if I'm born female, I will die female. If I'm born Sindhi, I will die Sindhi. If I'm born Dalit, I will die Dalit. No change. Gandhi, it's very difficult to fix the identity of Gandhi. Sometimes Gandhi looks like a woman. Sometimes he looks like a fakir. The only time Gandhi wore, I don't know whether you know this, the only time Gandhi covered his chest was when he was meeting the Queen. And then someone told him, aren't you a little bit overdressed? Now this is interesting because if you cover your upper bodies and someone says you're overdressed. So was Gandhi a Dalit? Difficult because he was involved in cleaning toilets. That is what the government today has taken and put. Gandhi ne toilet saaf kiya. So Gandhi के नाम पे toilet बनाओ. And what do? You take the specs. Specs has no vision. मेरा चश्मा अगर मैं उतार के यहाँ रखूँ, उसमें कोई vision नहीं है. मेरे आँखों में vision है. The specs facilitate my vision. Specs को मैं निकालूँगी, उसमें क्या vision? लेकिन they have taken the specs of Gandhi. Such that see, my job is to be critical, okay? Because I think as part of university, I should be civil society. And I have not been only critical of the present dispensation, I have even been critical of the previous dispensation, okay? So, what is Gandhi? Is Gandhi a man? Is Gandhi a woman? Sometimes he is only interested, the piece you gave me, the first thing I read, goat's milk. I'm only interested in goat's milk. In fact, there is this Gandhian scholar, Sudarshan Iyengar, who says, अच्छा हुआ गांधी आज नहीं तो गोट बैन हो जाता कि गोट का दूध पीना है तो गोट बैन हो गया, तो काउ बैन हो गया, गोट भी बैन हो गया, तो अच्छा है गांधी नहीं है. Alright, but he is busy with cleaning He is busy spinning the wheel. He is busy doing household chores. Is this male? Patriarchally, it's not. Is Gandhi a Brahmin? Is Gandhi a Gujarati? Not really. In fact, Gandhi is not really a Gujarati. All right. So who is Gandhi? I think Gandhi, and if you read the first 3 pages of my Experiments in Truth, Gandhi says, I do not expect you to follow what I have done. So there is no Gandhism, which means even Gandhi is not fixed. You have your own experiments. You do your own experiments. Which means Gandhi expects an open, fluid identity. Keep your identities open. The state has a fixed identity. People have fixed identities. Who has fluid identity? Civil society organization. Today you will protest for a dam. Tomorrow you will protest for a road which may be coming up in a tribal area. The day after you will protest for maybe the selling of a plot for a commercial purpose. So that fluidity is what civil society occupies. No, thank you. Gandhi also played with boundaries. Civil society hasn't got a boundary. If I ask you, are you a public institution? You're not public in the form of the state. See, political science has this very interesting thing. You're either private or public. Private ghar, public state. So are you public? You're not the state. Are you private? Ye ghar nahi hai. Right. So Gandhi played with boundaries. He did not play in a boundary. He played with the boundary. Civil society organizations, if you ask me, need to play with boundaries. So today, for instance, and you've got Marx over there, Marx also played with boundaries. Marx says economy is not private, economy is political. So what you placed in the private is not really private, it's political. Gandhi is playing with boundaries. But one thing which, and I'm adding, one thing I just cannot do is number. So I'm just giving you aspects of Gandhi which make him to me as a civil society, and then I will come to where Gandhi, in my view, does offer an idea of justice, which I know I have read sufficiently of justice. Not anybody has given so far. What Gandhi gives, and I think the younger generation should pick on this today, is hope. Hope, उम्मीद. आज इंडिया में अगर किसी बात की कमी है, काफी बातों की कमी है, there is उम्मीद की कमी. We don't have hope. There is nothing to hope. You know, what are you hopeful about? क्या होगा? एक और मॉल बनेगा, एक और रास्ता बनेगा. Is this what hope is? What did Gandhi do? He gave. Why is Gandhi responsible for making the freedom movement a mass movement? लोग ऐसे ही थोड़े घर से निकल के रास्तों पे आएंगे. आप मैं अगर अपने स्टूडेंट को बोलूँगी चलो चलो जाते हैं, they will say क्यों जाना है? Why do we have to follow you? Only when I give them hope. Unfortunately today even educational institutions don't give hope. So when a student comes to me and tells me what is the prospect of studying political science, I say I don't know. I don't know. मैं political science पढ़ के क्या बनूंगा मुझे नहीं पता. शायद कुछ भी नहीं. शायद आप अभी ठीक हो मत आप. There is just no hope. And what contributes to this hope, which is not Gandhian, I'm not bringing that, is our present mode of communication. So we feel everything is in our pocket. किस बात की उम्मीद? सब कुछ तो यहाँ है. Smartphone. I love it. This is a smartphone. इसमें smartness कहाँ है? What is smart about it? But I will leave this because Gandhi, I don't want to bring Gandhi here because it's very imaginative to do that. शायद अगर कभी मेरी imagination इतनी अच्छी हो तो मैं I'll try and relate it, लेकिन अभी थोड़ी कम है. But there is hope ki kami. Why did Gandhi massify the Indian movement? Because he gave the Indians hope. Hope of freedom. Now I want to say this now, because I don't want to keep it hanging. Freedom is not something that you achieve and hold forever. Freedom is something you continuously struggle for. The day you stop struggling for freedom, you have lost it. Freedom, azadi, and I'm not JV, I have never studied JV. Freedom, the day you stop struggling for it, you will lose it. It's a continuous struggle. Who keeps that struggle alive? Civil society organizations. The state will be happy if we surrender our freedom to them. जो भी थोड़ा बहुत है वो भी ले लें. I loved it. I loved it in the sense I was deeply disappointed with the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court a couple of years back said even our body belongs to the state. Even my body belongs to it, तो मेरे पास बचा ही क्या है? They can't control your thought, लेकिन शरीर भी ले लेगा. ये तो अच्छा हुआ वो 7-member bench का जिसने बोला right to privacy है. And that day I said, चलो कुछ तो है. At least privacy है. Because we know what is happening. I mean, today ये जो Hong Kong की जो my sister stays in Hong Kong, but I'm not autobiographical. वहाँ पे I was watching the protests in Hong Kong. वहाँ पे the state has a scanner. Now we are in India. We are talking about face scan. Why do they want to scan my face? All right. What is happening in Hong Kong today is, अगर आप protest में हो तो government scanner बहुत बड़ा scanner लाता है, face scan करता है, and they know who is in the protest. तो protest करके तो दिखाओ, आपका face scan. Now, this is why the minute you stop struggling for it, you will lose it. Gandhi never stopped struggling. In fact, till his last breath, he was struggling. Unfortunately, today India is very, very sure, and wrongly sure. I'm saying India, maybe Indians. They are very confident that we are free. Abhi freedom nahi jayega. Where this confidence comes from, I do not know. I know I am not free. My family decides, my university decides, my state decides, I am not free. And I know, roz utke, chalo, I feel every day I get up and go for a march. Ladna, you have to fight for freedom. But Indians have lost, don't have lost hope ki kya baat hai? There is no hope. Hope itna hi hai ki mere ghar ke baaju mein ek mall banega, मैं वहाँ जाके मूवी देखूंगी, मैकडॉनल्ड्स खुल जाएगा, मैं वहाँ जाके बर्गर खा लूंगी. This is the hope, and this is not hope. Because what is hope? Hope is the idea of a desirable, possible future. Desirable future. Desirable future is not more. Desirable future is something which Gandhi gave us for us. I'm not saying repeat Gandhi, don't get me wrong. I'm saying use Gandhi as a method. So is there anybody in India who is telling us today what is a desirable future India? No. I hope that, and I'm saying this foot in mouth, that I hope a Hindu Rashtra is not a desirable future. I hope. All right? Because this cannot be India. India is not uniform. India is diverse. India is extremely diverse. So, and if you ask me, Gandhi was able to make the freedom movement a mass movement only because of this movement. If you read Gandhi, you get very hopeful. So for instance, in Hind Swaraj, and Hind Swaraj, those of you who have read it, let me apologize, those of you who haven't read it, it's a book which is available it's supposed to be available in the market. When I bought it 5 rupees, now 25 rupees. And Navjeevan Publishing. And when I ask my students, have you read Hind Swaraj? Some of them say yes, most of them say no. So I say, क्या बात है? 25 रुपए की बुक भी आप नहीं ले सकते. 25 रुपए में you don't even get 300 ml of Coke. 25 रुपए में you're getting a book. Read it. In Hind Swaraj, it's a dialogue between the editor and the reader. So the reader, and they're both Gandhi, this is Socratic method. Reader asks Gandhi, what do you think about a Western civilization? And Gandhi says, he says, what do you think about the Western civilization? And Gandhi says, I think it will be a good idea. Hope. Even that statement is hopeful for the West. अच्छी बात होगी अगर हम civilized हो जाए. All right. So when you read Gandhi, you begin, at least I get a lot of hope. So when I'm very, very disappointed with what is going on, I pick up letters. I go to I have photocopies of letters of Gandhi, which I got photocopied from Sabarmati Ashram, and I go and read them. When I feel better, I shut it and go to sleep. Okay, now I'm hopeful that things are not going to be so bad. And the last is what I think is the most important for Gandhi, and then I will kindly summarize what I'm doing. I hope I'm going in time.
Please continue.
I hope I'm communicating. My only fear is I'm not communicating. See, when we talk about justice, what does justice mean? Justice means giving to each what is due. And इसीलिए आप देखेंगे कि जस्टिस लेडी ऑफ जस्टिस का जो स्टैचू है उस पे एक तराजू है पूरा स्टैचू पूरा लेडी स्टैचू है शी स्टैटिक वो हिलती नहीं है आंखें बंद ओके आंखें बंद नहीं आंखें ब्लाइंड फोल्डेड पर क्या हिल रहा है वो तराजू हिल रहा है तराजू को स्टैटिक बनाने में कितना वक्त लगा होगा जब पूरी स्टैचू ही बन रही थी तो तराजू भी स्टैचू बना ले वो तराजू क्यों हिलते और बॉलीवुड ने उसका बहुत बहुत फायदा उठाया है आप कुछ बॉलीवुड की मूवी देखेंगे मैंने आई हैवंट सीन तेलुगु मूवीज आई एम सॉरी बट इफ यू वॉच हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री मूवीज जब इनजस्टिस होता है तो देखो खड़ा आई मीन इट विल जस्ट गो द अदर एंड यू बिगिन टू वंडर ये इसको इतना तो इंसल्ट मत करो I mean, she's the lady of justice, and ideally दोनों को एक समान होना चाहिए और लेकिन हिलना भी चाहिए, which means you can never close justice. कब even अगर सारे जो pending cases हैं इंडिया में, ये उम्मीद है, सारे जो pending cases हैं इंडिया में वो सब solve हो जाए, सब address हो जाए, तो भी हम नहीं कह सकते कि इंडिया just हो गया. We can't say it. Even if there is not one pending case in court, India is still not a just society. So justice is forever open. But when I said giving to each what is due, how do you give what is due? Now, when we talk about justice, milna kya chahiye? What is due to me? Politics में जब हम politics पढ़ाते हैं, तो politics आता कहाँ से है? Politics आता है and I'm saying this with a sense of humility in front of you, sir. That politics, अगर मैं बोलूँ अगर मैंने अपने पेरेंट्स को कहा होता कि मुझे पॉलिटिक्स में जाना है, वो कहते नहीं, पॉलिटिक्स बहुत गंदा है, मत जाओ, ओके? ये अलग बात है, बाद में वो कहने लगे, आपको पॉलिटिक्स पढ़ाने लगे, which is worse, right? But I thank them that they haven't. Now, why is politics dirty? Politics is dirty because politics, perhaps, is the only activity and idea. दोनों activity भी है, idea भी है. और Marx talked about idea, talked about activity. Gandhi did idea, did activity. Ambedkar, idea, activity. And I will also add you, sir. Idea, activity. It is the only idea and activity which is based on conflict. मैंने पहले कहा, the first thing I said was dissent. That dissent is conflict. I disagree. Conflict का मतलब मारा मारी नहीं है, खून बहाना नहीं है, murder करना नहीं है. I disagree is conflict. इतना कहना is conflict. और अगर आपने कहा I disagree, आप पॉलिटिकल हो गए. इसीलिए हम कहते हैं घर में पॉलिटिक्स नहीं चाहिए, बिकॉज घर में डिसएग्रीमेंट नहीं चाहिए. यू शुड नॉट डिसएग्री. बाहर जाके पॉलिटिक्स करो, बाहर जाके डिसएग्रीमेंट करो, घर में डिसएग्रीमेंट मत करो. ऑलराइट, घर एक एपॉलिटिकल जहाँ पे पॉलिटिक्स नहीं है. आज नारी आंदोलन ने काफी कह दिया है कि घर भी पॉलिटिकल. ऑलराइट, देयर इज इनफ पॉलिटिक्स इवन एट होम. ये किन के बीच में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है? ये सेल्फ, मैं और आई एंड यू, सेल्फ एंड अदर. I कभी compromise नहीं करता. Alright, this is a grammatically wrong statement. I does not compromise. Grammatically wrong. But I really does not compromise. हमेशा I को capital में लिखा जाता है. कंप्यूटर ने भी वो मान लिया. Amazing. कंप्यूटर में I टैप करके स्पेस कीजिए, कैपिटल हो जाएगा. अपने आप. क्यों? अगर मैं I को छोटे में लिखती हूँ, स्मॉल लेटर में, जो हिंदी में ये नहीं है, I डोंट नो तेलुगु में है कि नहीं, पर हिंदी में तो ये कैपिटल का प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है, इंग्लिश में. अगर मैं कभी कभी I छोटे में लिखती हूँ, तो गिव अ पॉलिटिकल स्टेटमेंट, लोग बोलते हैं ये मिस्टेक है, इसको करेक्ट करो. काहे का मिस्टेक है? बट मिस्टेक है, करेक्ट करो. स्कूल में भी हमें बहुत बोला गया था, I हमेशा कैपिटल. इवन मिडिल ऑफ द सेंटेंस कैपिटल नहीं होना चाहिए. प्रोनाउन कैपिटल में नहीं होना. I इज अ प्रोनाउन नहीं होना चाहिए, लेकिन कैपिटल. सो I डज नॉट कॉम्प्रोमाइज. सो I will not compromise. You compromise. Self does not compromise, others should compromise. So it's a relation between self and others. मैं और आप सब. आपके लिए मैं अदर हूँ, आप सेल्फ. It's the relation between self and others. इसीलिए हम कहते हैं जो अभी प्रॉब्लम नया क्रिएट होने जा रहा है, मेल, फीमेल, अदर. ये लोग बोल रहे हैं हम अदर नहीं हैं. Don't call us others. You are othering us. हम others नहीं हैं. Give us an identity. So it's a relationship. Now justice में, how do you solve it? Now justice is you have been denied. कुछ आपका exploitation हुआ है, कुछ deny हुआ है, आपका exploitation हुआ है. मार्क्स ने कहा था exploitation. So what does one? I'm going to give you very quickly what the dominant theories of justice say, and then what Gandhi does. And Gandhi is miraculous, if you want to ask me. So what one dominant thinker, including Marx, ये क्या कहेंगे? Let the other become like the self. The other should become the self. ये कहा जाता है इंडिया में, अगर औरत को पब्लिक स्पेस में आना है और मर्द से कॉम्पीट करना है, उनको मर्द के जैसा बनना पड़ेगा. The other has to become the self. Alright. If what are we expecting from the poor कि वो एक दिन अमीर हो जाए? Alright. Obviously we don't hope that poverty remains. But one way of, or for instance, अगर आपने ये देखा होगा, एक